Hey, David L. Hoyt here in Nuremberg, Germany. I'm here with my buddy Colin, and we were just talking about how 1 year ago we were filming the answers to the questions that everybody at jumbleanswer.com had put together. And we thought it might be fun to expand on one of those questions, and I believe the question was, how do I choose what word goes into a puzzle? Because I've noticed that, you've started to kind of pay attention to the words, when they've been used, how often they've been used, and there's a lot more going on here than meets the eye. And there's a little bit of a kind of a thing that I do that I don't like to talk too much about, because I kind of feel like an artist. That's kind of my style. But here's the deal, okay? There are some words that make great jumbles, or that have common letters, words like walnut, or like today, misuse. And then there are words like fuzzy, F-U-Z-Z-Y. It does not matter how I scramble up fuzzy, you will read it as fuzzy. So what I've done is I've actually ranked words, and where I will say that this word is kind of a word that I can unscramble or scramble into many different ways, and it will still be hard to solve. And then other words I will give a much lower rating, like fuzzy. Fuzzy is a great example. Seriously, it does not matter how I scramble up fuzzy, you will instantly see the word fuzzy, or window, or willow, or there's a whole bunch of these. So what happens is when I make a puzzle, my goal is to have it needs to have a certain difficulty level. It has to have a certain feel. Like when you solve it, I want it to feel, maybe slightly easy on a Monday or slightly more difficult on a Thursday or Friday. So I'm choosing words that create that overall feel. And sometimes it makes more sense for me to use a word that was used 6 months ago versus a word that was used 2 years ago, because it gives me that feel it's a little bit more difficult. So you will see situations in which a word like today, misuse, may have been used fairly recently, but it's still the one that is the tough one to solve. So there you go. There's a little bit more insight. I try to put about 6 months between the words. But sometimes I mess up. I'll give you an example. When I was putting in the words that I used at the very end of, or at the very beginning of 2019, I marked them as 2018. I said January 2018, just like I would on a check. I did that in my checkbook also at the same time, where I wrote January 2nd, 2018 instead of 2019. So every now and then you'll see me make a mistake when it comes to that. It happens. These are all handmade puzzles. But we thought you might enjoy some behind the scenes info as to how I choose the words. And as always, thank you so much for playing our puzzles and games and giving us such fun jobs. Jeff and I really appreciate it.